Today's content is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. Today's content is sponsored by the Periodic Review podcast, now available on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and Spotify.com. All right, so some interesting stuff has been happening. Steven Crowder from Louder with Crowder has been, everybody's talking about him right now, apparently has some wild things to say about Daily Wire and the non-disclosure, or the agreement that they sent him. We're going to talk a little bit about secret societies, why they're good and bad, and how they shaped our country, and why the world needs men. Hello, everybody. Jay Rhymes here with the Periodic Review. Hopefully you are having an incredible day. We're hoping to earn your subscription today. So don't forget to like and share this video, hit that red subscribe button, and click that bell to turn on notifications so you don't miss a content release. So I am starting us off today. But we're going to go a little round robin here, talk a little about what's been up in your world, Miss Rianne.
Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
I started working for Lock Cop, and I love it, and it's awesome. And I'm doing school, and that's not so fun, but that's okay. And that's about it.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Bryson? How have you been?
I've been fantastic.
Good to hear.
Yeah, kind of just been doing school and stuff. I finally got a monitor for my PC at home. I've just been using my TV. But I went to the DI yesterday, and I found a decent monitor for like $20. And I was like, bet, I'm taking that so that I can actually use my computer and my TV at the same time. So
nice.
We're vibing. But yeah.
Very nice. All right, Mr. Kai, how you been, dog? What's up in your corner?
Vibing, still sick. I actually really enjoying school, even though like my schedule is freaking busy. Oh yeah, Bryson, I finally watched the hatchet wielding hitchhiker on Netflix.
Yeah, what do you think?
His name is not Kai. That's all I care about.
That's like a nickname.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. Started Last of Us on HBO.
How about that?
Oh,
how about that?
Oh,
I'm definitely watching the second episode after I.
Have we all seen it?
Yeah.
Rianne, you saw it with me, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, of course.
How do you not remember? We watched it last night.
Goodness.
It's been these last 2 weeks have been super crazy, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, still sick. So that's not as fun, but I mean, life is pretty good. Can't complain too much. So,
right on.
What about you, Jacob?
Nothing's been super new. It's just these last 2 weeks have just kind of been like nonstop for me. Uploading lots of content, working, coming home, working on content, live streaming. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. I'm hoping that this next weekend will be a little bit more chill. But overall, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty happy with the progress that we're making with our channel. We're definitely, got off. We did a Zoom call today with my father and my 3 siblings. I can't speak.
Was that nice?
It was really good. We don't get to speak to our father as much because he is, he lives in another state. He has, his family that he's got to work with. They just recently had a death in the family, so they've been kind of dealing with that. Sending them all the love and support that we have for sure. But yeah, other than that, I mean, yeah, like you said, can't complain too much. Everything's still been so good and, feeling so blessed. So there's not really a lot I can say. With that being said though, I don't know if you guys have been following this whole beef that's been going down now with Mr. Steven Crowder from Louder with Crowder. He used to be a part of The Blaze. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but they have
The Blaze? 420?
The Blaze. No, not 420.
Yeah.
If only though. I mean, they might they might be a little bit more chill if they had a little bit of the ganja.
That's something I'd probably follow.
that would be my
Guys, like,
I
I'd
like
pay
it.
attention if they had weed.
Have you ever listened to a podcast on weed?
Oh, dude! Actually,
Yeah.
one of my favorite podcasts is Great Moments in Weed History. That's how I learned about Jesus being a cannabis advocate. So.
Oh,
I thought you were
that's
just going to
awesome.
end it with that's how I
And
learned about Jesus.
P.S. My
Yeah.
mom asked about this podcast, so she might be listening. That'll be fun.
Oh, hey, Rianne's mom.
Hey, Mom. Good to hear it. Glad you're what things.
Jacob's having a stroke.
My brain's just dead, man. It's been a long 2 weeks.
Stop playing with the water bottle.
So, anyways,
Jacob.
So he's been with the Blaze for a number of years, and he's grown his channel and his community quite a bit. They have Mug Club, and
So he has over 6 million followers. He's super big in the conservative.
yeah,
He's like the largest. So like Joe Rogan is like the largest podcaster. Steven Crowder is like the largest conservative podcaster.
he's not.
And Joe
necessarily a
Rogan's more,
podcaster. He's just a content creator who got linked up with the Blaze.
Well, yeah, Joe.
Joe Rogan's
But
more left leaning, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
He's
more
more
he's
left
more
moderate.
democratic.
Yeah, like
but
he's a Bernie
definitely moderate
Sanders.
for sure. But what's been really interesting is that since he's left the Blaze, he hasn't really done a ton of uploading and a lot of doing extra content and stuff like that.
He hasn't done any.
He hasn't done really anything. But all of a sudden, this last week, he did a couple of posts, and one of the posts was basically the date. So apparently, the Daily Wire approached him with a non-binding agreement to say, hey, here's some ideas that we were thinking and we'd love to have you on. Here's the amount of money we want to pay you. I think they said, was it $50 million or something like that?
$50 million over 4 years, which is about $12 million a month or a year.
I was going to say $12 million a month. Damn, son.
That's some Jeff Bezos
That's,
level money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Benjamins.
And he was complaining.
Basically.
50 million? I deserve
Over
more.
4 years.
Here's the thing, though, is because they sent him a non-binding agreement. So it was kind of like a conversation started to say,
Negotiation
hey,
started.
here's how we want to start negotiations. Get with your legal team. Come and check this out. It's kind of how I saw it. And what was really interesting is he kind of went almost line by line. And I do agree with him on some things in his these contract possibilities that he was having, which was that he would be penalized if he didn't complete the number of daily uploads he was supposed to do a week, or if he missed a month, like a 30-day one or a important quarter or yearly one that he was supposed to create and release, and how much money would be deducted from his money for each thing that he did. And I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty punitive. It was hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It was $100,000.
And then if he didn't complete some for whatever reason, he would have a percentage deducted from his yearly salary. So I was like, damn. So I could understand where he was coming from and how that could look. And then as it went on, he kept going. And some of the things I thought was really interesting that he was upset about is that he said that there wasn't anything put in there for an issue of bereavement or sickness or family illness, things like that, terminal stuff.
But there was.
But there kind of was. It wasn't so explicitly laid out for specific things,
it
but
wasn't a
it
whole
was
contract.
in there. Yeah, because it was a non-binding agreement to saying, hey, here's our thoughts. He took it as places like the Daily Wire and the Blaze and all these other more right-leaning tech companies, content creating companies. He called them the big con, which is really funny because I don't know. For me, it kind of seemed like he was trying to find a conspiracy where it wasn't one, which was kind of fascinating.
It's big conservative. They're taking over everything.
Well, and that's where I have issues with really hardcore conservatives, because it's they get a couple of conspiracies that are right after a few months, and now everything's a conspiracy. That's why I consider myself a moderate, because I think that these things are kind of funny.
Your
And
mom's
so,
a conspiracy.
no, your mom's a conspiracy.
Okay.
Tell her we say hi. And so, as it goes on, there's also issues if your channel gets demonetized. So if his like Spotify or YouTube or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, if any of that gets demonetized, then he has penalties for that, which I thought was really interesting, because if somebody goes and like mass flags like his channel, like it's going to get taken down. It's going to be demonetized, you know?
Okay.
And so,
but there were clauses in that, and it was like, but he could negotiate that because he's already demonetized on
YouTube, right?
YouTube. But the biggest thing he got mad about was they were going to penalize him if the advertisers
Didn't get their ads in.
Yeah, like if he lost 50% of the advertisers.
So if they just quit and decide not to back up,
we will no longer advertise with the Daily Wire or whatever, because of Steven Crowder, then he would be penalized. But that's fair, because it's the Daily Wire's not making any money off of him. So what value does he bring? Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
very, very true.
Anyway.
Yeah, and so he has this big conspiracy theory around the Daily Wire and other companies like it, like the Blaze and stuff like that. Basically, calling them out just as bad as big tech. And he's calling them out as these contracts as slave contracts, which I thought was kind of interesting. So not only did he like blow this thing up and had all these things come out, now everybody's talking about it. But now
You say everybody, but it's pretty much everybody on the right.
well, I'm sure there's a lot of liberals talking about it as well, like Tim Pool. He's a liberal.
Mm,
Isn't he?
I don't know.
What's
All
his
right.
name?
Tim Pool or
Tim Pool.
Timcast IRL. I'm pretty sure he's a liberal. I could be wrong.
YouTuber?
He
I could be
was,
wrong.
but then he got red
Well, he's
pilled.
definitely not a conservative the way they talk.
He's more like a Joe Rogan. Yeah.
I wouldn't consider him a Democrat. The way that he speaks about different things, it's seemingly more liberal.
He's a libertarian.
Liberalism.
Yeah, it's me.
Libertarian is different than a liberal. Libertarian doesn't believe in big government.
Libertarian is more like you kind of want the
Live
government.
and let live.
Yeah, want the government not involved in as much as possible.
So he's
Yeah.
an anarchist. Okay.
No. And no.
And that's not necessarily, but
Oh, okay.
I can
An
understand where you're
anarchist
coming
is
from,
the
but-
extreme of a libertarian.
Okay. So liberalism is the extreme part of being liberal, right?
What?
Is that what you just said?
No, libertarian. Anarchy is like the extreme of libertarian.
Okay. So
Where leftist is like the extreme of a liberal.
I
And
got you.
okay.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it. So now there's all this drama going on, right? So I have a couple of thoughts on this because now Daily Wire has outed themselves and said, "Hey, yeah, that is our non-binding agreement that we sent him," which they could have just said nothing, and it probably nobody would have talked about it.
Oh yeah, but why would they?
So this is my thing. I
Gotta
think
get the views somehow.
this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that maybe he is going to go with them, but with a go through all the process and everything.
This is their whole marketing ploy.
This is a marketing ploy. I think this is my aluminum foil hat that I'm wearing right now. I think it's a marketing ploy, but if it's not, and Steven Crowder is being very genuine, and not being disingenuous. I was trying to push those two together. Either
Thinking too fast.
Either he's really trying hard to find a conspiracy where there isn't one, or his ego has just gotten so big that it's just running his every train of thought and every waking moment that he had to bring this information to light.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a big publicity stunt.
You think it is?
I think it is.
I think it's a great possibility, honestly.
Because
'Cause
it's
he
bringing attention to the Daily Wire. It's bringing attention to Steven Crowder. They're going to blah, blah, blah. It's got so many people talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then again, at the same time, I'm like, this is stupid. Why are we even paying attention to this?
It seems like entertainment and theater to me.
A little bit.
Because he was a child star, wasn't he? Like, wasn't he Arthur in like
Yeah,
the
he was
Arthur
the voice.
cartoon?
He was the voice of the brain in the Arthur cartoon.
Oh yeah, so a children's cartoon. So he's a child star.
And then he got
No.
fired.
He got fired.
He's
Some raunchy stuff going on child shows.
Yeah, there's some things that are going on that I'm hearing, because I know Candace Owens went on Timcast, and she had a lot to say about Steven Crowder, and it wasn't very nice. A lot of things like, he's a jerk, he's a jackass, like he treats his people like crap. Apparently there were several people that left his production team because they just couldn't work with him, like allegedly. Like I honestly don't know. But apparently there's a lot of people saying some pretty bad things about him. So I don't know. I feel like Candace Owens is a pretty straight shooter when it comes to stuff like this. I don't think, from the way that she sounded, she seemed very genuine and very upset. And I don't think that was theater, in my opinion. But you watched the whole thing, Rihanna. I still have like a little bit left.
Well, they moved on to other topics, but I just think I don't know. I don't know. I think it's dumb. Here's the thing. I'm getting to the point where, like, I feel like politics is all just political theater bullcrap, and all the conservative talk shows, and, like, I feel like it's just part of a stupid system.
Yeah.
Mainstream media. Like, I feel it's all dumb. I think we all need to be entertained, but I do feel like it's a marketing ploy.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Well, only time will tell, as we say. And the other thing that was really interesting about what he talked about was that he was just kind of like, fine, like if I can't get the contract that I want, I'm just going to start my own thing. So I'm like, okay, so if this is a marketing ploy and he's saying that he's going to start his own thing, then why drum up all this drama and then add that on top of it?
Because he's building it up so he can start his own thing.
Any publicity is good publicity. It doesn't matter if it's bad or good.
Yeah.
Right, as long as it's getting the clicks and the views, right?
Yep.
That's a great possibility.
Probably the reason why we're talking on this topic is so we can get some clicks and views too.
Yeah, maybe.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we'll just put his name in the title and all the
see
tags.
what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cut out a PNG of him and just slap it on the thumb.
There you go.
I don't got time for thumbnails. So yeah, it's a very interesting case, and I mean, if he does start his own thing, that would be kind of cool, especially when he's starting from the ground up. I think there's a lot of smaller creators that could probably jump on that train and build their brand and stuff. I'll be honest, I emailed and I was like, hey, I'll put our hat in the ring, because you never know.
Yeah, but it's not like he's gonna have any money to pay us anything.
I mean, if he set it up right, he could be paid. He could pay people quite a bit. Like he has the viewership. He could get it done. But it just depends on what happens. We'll have to see how it all transpires, honestly. I feel like this could be good or it could be bad. Because I think if it turns out bad, it's gonna be a pretty huge blight on conservative creators. Because he's the biggest. He's the biggest and the most viewed out of any of the conservative creators.
Which kind of makes me sad that a conservative creator is such a jackass.
Well, and to be honest, like I started not wanting to watch his content because it kind of felt like he was just shouting everybody down, number one, and number two, again, he was just like he would find little things and just like come to these overreaching conclusions, and I was just like, I don't really know if that's what the information dictates. I kind of feel like he kind of over what's the word? He tries too hard to make it.
He gets hyperbolic in his...
Yes. Yeah, and he tries to connect things with things that doesn't seem like they're supposed to be connecting. And I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight. It's not like I have any love for this guy. I mean, as a human being, I wish him the best. But, yeah, I just don't know where this is going to go. I feel like it could go anywhere at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you have a chance to listen to it at all, Bryson? Or
I did a little bit, but not like tons to where I fully understand the topic. It's like I like put it on like while I was doing some other things, so it was kind of just background noise.
Yeah.
And so occasionally it's like my ears would perk up, and I'm like, "What did they just say?" The big con thing kept cracking me up. I was like, okay, let's be real. Every big industry is conning for something, so it's not like
Well, the music industry is notorious for doing stuff like
exactly
this all
music,
the time.
fitness, tech. It doesn't matter. They're all, if they're making tons of money, they're trying to find ways to con people out of it. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think I understand a lot of where, like, I can see where the Daily Wire is coming from with the different items and, like, you know, different
Well, if they're
reversals of
paying for
funds.
it.
Or yeah, if they're paying for something and they're not getting it, I understand why they're trying to preserve.
$50 million.
Yeah.
They're like, you're not making us videos. He's like, well, I don't want to. And they're like,
Well, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's what the contract was saying. Like, you can't just all of a sudden decide you're not going to do an episode because you choose not to, even though we've already paid our staff and our marketing and our...
Right.
Like, we've already expended the expense for it.
All the marketing.
So for you to say, yeah, I just don't feel like it because you throw a hissy fit, which, let's be honest, Crowder does throw hissy fits.
It's clear he has quite the ego.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
It is.
So...
It's possible he's a
get
nice
it.
person, like, to most people, but it's clear while he's on his show, he has a huge ego, and he does trump it up and puts in a lot of flair and entertainment on it to make you get excited or get, upset about it. Like,
See,
he's
that's
purposefully being provocative for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's like one of my biggest turnoffs with like any content creator is like if the ego is noticeable, then it's like instantly I do not want anything to do with your content. Logan Paul, granted, like I'm not gonna lie,
I don't like him.
They have some guests and some conversations that are like, okay, like that's kind of cool, but then it's just like, okay,
but most of the time they feel pretty fake.
The ego's coming out, and now I don't really give a shit about what's going on anymore.
Yeah. He's really trying hard to build back his brand. Like, ever since that whole Japanese death forest incident,
that's hard.
He's trying to bring it back, man.
That's something that's so difficult to come back from. But I mean, like,
I don't even know anything about that one.
Well, so do you know the background? Do you want to share?
So,
or
this was, what year did this take place, Bryson? Well, this was like 2018, 2019, maybe
Something like that. Let me find it out.
So a few years ago, Logan Paul and a bunch of his friends, like while they were doing like their vlogs, and this is like when they're huge on YouTube, right?
Oh yeah.
They had like this trip in Japan, and they came out with this video on YouTube that did get taken down.
Yeah, 2018. No, 2017.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it was a while ago, and he's still getting hate for it.
Yeah.
But so they went into. Can you tell me the name of the forest that they were in?
Yeah.
So they went into this Japanese forest that is like notoriously known for people going in and.
Oh, the suicide forest.
Yeah, the suicide. Yeah, exactly. So they went in, and they found a dead body, and Logan and his friends filmed it, and put it on the internet. And while like in the video, like they were not taking it seriously at all. You could tell that they were shook up because I mean it's a dead body, and I think they were trying to like get some kind of message out to the community to like give awareness to suicide. But it totally just backfired.
Yeah,
and
the way they did it
was terrible.
Made it out to seem like they were trying to make fun of it rather than actually being sympathetic. Yeah. And so that's where kind of like the whole controversy kind of came in.
Okay.
Yep. I totally thought it was a complete ruse. Like, I thought maybe somebody put a dummy out there and we're just like, oh yeah, they're going to come upon this, this dummy.
But it was a real body.
It was a real body. They filmed it. They put it on the internet, on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
Like-
and they just
Yeah, and
which is like an immediate content
So
violation.
okay, so here's because I didn't see it or anything, and I'm not trying to be super antagonistic, but how is that different than a film crew going in and shooting a movie and trying to replicate it?
Because in that situation, it is fake, and you know it's fake, and you
the dead body that they filmed was real.
exactly. So in a film context, usually things are planned out, and they're planned out with a purpose. And the way they did it, they did not do it with a purpose, and they found something that is very traumatic and
Yeah.
tried to not exactly put a light tone on it, but they tried to play it off as this. They were like, oh, we just found someone's dead body, which is like insensitive to the family of that person.
The reaction,
yeah, for sure.
the reaction of Logan Paul and his friends, and like the way that they were going about it, it was like, wow, like
So they
I
were
can't
like
believe you can get.
nonchalant, kind of just like,
Yeah.
oh, whatever.
It's like I can't believe anybody could get this low. But I mean, like the thing is with Logan Paul is ever since Vine came out and he blew up on there,
He's always been trying to keep that going.
he's always been trying to be like the most, like do whatever for the
outrageous.
views, like
Yeah, do it for the boys.
Just do it for the views. Do whatever you can to like get the views out there. And I mean, like
oh, what a
he-
morbid existence.
he didn't
Yeah.
like in this instance, like he didn't understand that there was a ceiling. So
And he broke
So, I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and of course
Who
he
is this
lost.
kid's parents? That's what I want to know.
I know he's had his dad on the podcast a couple times, and his dad doesn't seem. Well, I mean, like I'm not gonna, but I mean, like he lost a lot of followers, and like back then he was gearing more towards like kids and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of the controversy is because
Yeah.
he was
He's trying to make kid-friendly videos.
exactly like
And-
because it was like the over-the-top energy, like, "Hey guys, it's time for a vlog," la, 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 like that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And so, like, that's always
They didn't really
geared-
have the age gating stuff back then, did they?
No.
It kind of
No.
started that.
no,
little
and
bit
it's like
after
it was
that.
geared towards kids, and the algorithm would probably show it to kids more. But because of that, when he eventually does like something that is in more adult context, because the algorithm already knows what audience to show his videos to, it sends that same stuff to that audience,
Right.
even though
right.
it's not for them.
So and now like the stuff that he's doing is like with this podcast, he's trying to push it more towards adults because he's having a lot of people on his like I know he's had Markiplier, he's had Shaq, he's had
Wow.
he's had a lot of like really well known
Names, yeah.
names on the show.
I know
like
he had a guy who was a Mormon.
it's get
I do remember
Roman Atwood, yeah.
Uh-huh.
The guy that used to do pranks all the time. But yeah, his podcast is starting to get up there with like Joe Rogan's.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
So he's making a comeback, huh?
Impulsive.
I don't like that he is, but I mean, yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Well, probably because the people who were watching him when he's big are adults now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's also true.
So he's trying to bring those individuals
So
back.
he's trying to recapture those individuals, probably.
Yeah.
Well, it's smart.
Anyways, went into a whole rabbit hole. Sorry, Jacob.
No, you're good. That's
Just kind of brought
Yeah.
that thought up. So
that's good, dude.
What's our other topics?
Secret societies.
Oh, and get all conspiracy theory.
The government
crap.
is all lizards.
No,
the CIA, man.
I don't know much about any secret society in general, but
The Freemasons.
I don't
Say,
really know much.
Freemasons are probably the most popularly known secret society.
Skull and Bones.
All I know is the White Lotus.
Oh,
Isn't that a movie or a TV show
That's
on
in
HBO?
Avatar.
The White Lotus, Iroh's crew.
yeah,
oh, and
from,
Avatar. Oh.
Avatar, the cartoon from Nickelodeon.
I was thinking.
not-
Avatar.
the Blue Kitties.
Not the Blue people.
not the
people.
Blue Kitties. Not the Blue Kitties.
Maybe there's a secret society with them. I don't know.
I mean, probably. You never really know.
No, so the Freemasons are actually kind of a very interesting organization because they've been around. I want to say since the
Knights Templar.
I want to say the
Did you guys ever watch
1300s.
National Treasure?
Yes.
No, but I think they are a branch from
The Knights Templar.
Knights Templar.
Yes, they are.
So I think they've been around since like the 1300s, if not earlier.
Joseph
they
Smith
are-
was a Freemason.
They are considered the oldest fraternal organization in the world.
Who, the Freemasons?
The Freemasons.
When do they believe that they initiated
Let me see.
the first organization? I want to say it was the 1300s. I really went on a pretty good deep dive on this.
1390.
Hey.
When I
Way to
was
go.
when I was a kid, and I heard people talk about like fraternities in college, I thought those were considered to be secret societies. Just in
Some
colleges.
of them are. Some of them
And-
are though.
Yeah,
The
but,
Skull
like,
and Bones.
And I remember I'm like, oh man, like that's so cool. I want to be part of a frat, and then I can.
And then you grow up and come to college,
And then
you're like,
eventually,
wow.
eventually learned what it was, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like,
What, you don't want to be part of the Brotherhood?
I'd be down to be part of a
Beta,
brotherhood.
theta,
I don't know about that.
Alpha.
So not to like.
Not
If you're in a
like-
fraternity
Not
and you
like
love
the
it,
Greek,
good
not
for
like
you.
the Greek fraternities.
No.
You'd want
Yeah.
something cool.
Yeah.
Want
You do.
something to
You want something a little bit darker.
something that's a low key and like actually like I don't know stands for something that I would care about.
So chess club.
Some
Yeah,
people
why not?
Start the weed fraternity.
some people think the
420.
priesthood in the church is a secret society.
The what?
The priesthood to be long
For the Mormons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is
Yeah.
100%.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess kind of yeah. now that you think about it, yeah.
So
Yikes.
So the Freemasons have been a very pivotal part in the organization of our country. Like they believe that at least 20% of the individuals that not only took part in the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but also the individuals in the planning in the background also had a part in building and creating the country, which is really interesting. And they also believe that the Freemasons, as well as other, societies that have been created, have also kind of weaved their way through in and out of governments, big business, things like that.
Yeah, but they're sexist, so I don't like them.
Because
Women can't be a part of it.
men suck.
They do.
Stop it.
Just kidding.
I didn't say that.
I know. I'm.
But it's not
But-
wrong.
Hey, men. And there are things about
I
men that
love
suck.
men.
There are things about women that suck too.
This is very true.
It's just people.
We're all human.
Absolutely.
But I will say, like, Skull and Bones, that's where the CIA came from.
Yep.
Was the Skull
CIA
and
came
Bones
out of the
Society?
Skull and Bones Society.
Did you ever see the movie Skull and Bones?
No.
You know, you guys are so young.
What was the other movie?
So
The Good
young.
Shepherd was one of the other CIA movies.
Yeah.
I think I could be wrong. I want to say that's one of the other movies that talk about. Good thing.
He saw that.
Good thing it was put on Rihanna and not on
What?
the website.
Oh.
Found some fancy underwear.
Oh, goodness. Hi. Okay.
Kai.
Bryson, I didn't know you were into BDSM.
Hey.
Just kidding.
Gosh. My
So-
mother's going to watch this.
Hi, Mom.
You're going to learn some interesting things today, Rianne's mom.
Yeah, they're gonna
Oh,
a lot of interesting
man.
things about us today. But so because of these societies, like these different things have come out and have been created.
So the Illuminati. Have you guys heard of that?
Yeah.
Who hasn't heard of the Illuminati?
Like Q is all about like exposing the
Q?
Illuminati.
Oh, QAnon, which was a hoax,
Yeah.
by the way.
I know Jim Carrey's been like
The Sacred Eye and like doing all that stuff.
yeah,
on-
like he I know he did that
he
on
exposes them. Yeah.
it was one of the Jimmy shows. I don't remember which one. But
Well, don't you guys remember the rants that what was the guy? He was a really big actor. Gosh, I can see his face right now. He was in Braveheart.
Mel
Mel
Gibson.
Gibson.
That guy. Yes, thank you.
that guy.
I told you my brain's not working today as well as it could be. So there was a lot of rants that he went on talking about secret societies and like, children being sacrificed and drinking blood. And honestly, there's some conspiracy theories around
Hollywood?
Epstein's Island and what that was.
Well, I don't
not
know if
only
those are
used for-
conspiracies so much anymore, though. But
Did you just say conspiracy?
Conspiracy.
I love-
I
Did
meant
I?
conspiracy.
I love conspiracy theories.
I like
scary
conspiracy.
theories.
I can, yeah. Maybe I'm.
Maybe we need to sleep.
That too.
So there's a lot of these things going on, like, and whether or not they're happening in actuality in the background, I don't know. But there's a lot of like different individuals in Hollywood that have come out and be like, oh yeah, we drink each other's blood, but just a dab, just a drop.
Megan Fox?
Yeah, Megan
That's how they
Fox
stay
came
young.
out.
Oh, so Jennifer's body was a real thing. Okay.
What?
Oh, it was a documentary. I didn't realize.
You guys ever see Jennifer's body?
No.
Oh,
It's a horror.
man.
It's a horror movie. It's stupid.
It-
But Megan Fox is hot, so I guess
What?
whatever.
watch for her.
Do you really?
Before she had all the work done, she was a very beautiful woman. But since she had her work done, she's gone way downhill.
Yeah.
I think she's
Like,
all right.
you got to go el natural.
Anyways.
And so back to secret societies, man. This is going well, isn't it? I should have picked better topics for you guys. I apologize. So they've been a pivotal part in our country. They've helped build like business, helped build the government. And so they've kind of been woven within our lives in the background.
World Economic Forum.
Yeah. But now, where we're at today, with the birth of the internet, with the birth of social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, that's a whole nother beast.
We all know Zuckerberg is not a real human.
Yeah, we all know he's part of the lizard
Neither
people.
is Elon Musk, man. He's
Bruh, true.
Let
all
that
the-
sink in.
All the big billionaires, they're definitely not real.
Oh.
I mean, they're real. They're just not humans.
So are most porn stars.
It's possible.
That's true.
Most porn
like
stars are not human.
Yeah,
They're
they're
not,
Explain
not,
that.
not real.
They're-
Not real.
they're
Got you.
octopus.
Got you.
They can just move.
or a lot of
No, like physically. There's
There
a
are
lot of plastic going
or
on. Like,
fillers.
yeah, thank you.
I got what you were saying, Alec.
Yeah, thanks.
I
I
got
did
what you
not.
were putting down.
Yeah, and so it's been really interesting because I kind of feel like they're a pretty big part in, the formation of our country. But I also feel like nowadays, where we're at in our country over the last, I don't know, I want to say 20, 30, 40 years, like our country has not been the most stable as of late. Ever since the Iraq War, it seems like things have been kind of wonky.
Oh yeah.
Like, one of the interesting things that I thought was really fascinating when I was listening to some podcasts is that there was a time where we went into Iraq, realized we were over prepared to the point where we could just wipe out that part of the country really easily, and they pulled out for a minute, and then they went back in again.
I have no idea what you're talking about because I have
Okay.
no point of reference.
Well,
Otherwise, I would engage, but I.
Well, there is the conspiracy theory that the only reason that we went into war with Iraq was over oil.
Well, yeah.
Well, that would not
In
surprise
the
me.
industrial war, the big industrial war complex, all these
But here's-
contractors that
but
make
here's
a
the
shit
thing.
ton of money
Here's the thing.
on war.
Here's the thing. America's been able to produce their own oil that they need many times over. We've actually been a small percentage of an exporter for the past 50 or 60 years. So was it really about oil? Or was it about military contracts?
I think it's about military contracts.
These no-bid military contracts?
Yeah, the
Nothing?
military
from
industrial
you guys?
complex. Do you guys follow this at all or not really?
No.
So when it comes to politics, that is a language I do not understand.
See, babe, I told you. It's very political heavy tonight,
Okay.
but it's okay. But we can talk about why we need men.
Okay. Let's talk about The Last of Us.
Have you watched the episode, Bryson?
Yes. I haven't watched the one today, but I watched the premiere. It was
You
fun.
seen the premiere?
Yeah.
It was off of. Is this off of a video game?
Yes.
Yeah. So, the Last of Us video game was actually, still is. It's one of my favorite video games to ever come out. So
Really?
yeah,
It's regarded as one of like the best story video games that has ever been released.
because when that game came out, it came out in 2013, and there weren't a whole lot of video games and stories like that. And like now, like story-driven games are just kind of
The standard.
Yeah,
right?
they're a big standard. That's a great way to put it, actually. So when this show was announced, there was so much controversy behind it of like, is it going to be good? Are they going to be loyal to the story? And then they casted Pedro Pascal, and there was again a lot of controversy behind that and behind his choice.
Really?
He's not
Why
my
he-
favorite.
Really, I liked him.
So
I love Pedro Pascal.
so the thing is, like,
He's gorgeous.
That game created one of the things that game did is it really created like a loyalty almost to these characters. Like Joel is voiced by this guy a really young guy, actually. He does not look like the character at all. His name is Troy Baker. Excuse me. So I mean, like, but after seeing Pedro Pascal's performance, I don't want anybody else playing Joel. And that's just from one episode.
Jacob, did you ever play the game?
I did not.
But
I did not. I have this problem where if I find a game that's grindy and can keep my attention, it keeps my attention for years, unfortunately.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get out of that, honestly. I'm trying to find more games.
takes me forever to finish a game.
immediately when the show started, we start from Sarah's perspective, right?
yeah, which I thought was really cool and
Yeah.
interesting, but I was like, I didn't see her in any of the previews, so I was like, she's gonna end up dying.
You had no point of
So-
reference, yeah.
Right. So they did the same thing in the video game because, like, when they start, it's like Joel comes home. It's super late at night. It's his birthday. She's got this watch that she's got for him. It's literally the same thing, and it's like, oh my god, like this is great. And they played it off so well. And because, like, as people that like haven't played the game, I'm sure, like, going into the show, guys probably thought like, oh, like the show's going to take place from like Sarah's perspective. Like they kind of play it off that way, right?
Yeah.
And then just breaks your heart like halfway through the episode. right?
Honestly, it was probably, if I would call it an epilogue, it was probably, or a prologue. I probably would say it's probably the best prologue I've seen to initiate a series I've seen in a very long time.
Because you're already invested in Joel,
You're already
right?
invested in it. You're just like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Took,
Like
like-
I started to cry. I was just like, oh my gosh, my
He
heart
did.
is breaking a little bit
He
here.
was like, what?
Yeah, I remember playing that game, like seeing that scene in the game, totally broke my heart. Seeing it again in the show, I feel like I've relived it all over again.
Oh wow. Wow. I like that we haven't really seen some of the more intricate monsters just yet. We've just seen like the initial start of what's going on with this whole
Yeah.
biological fungus
Okay,
thing that's growing
can we
inside people.
talk about how nasty it was seeing the little
little
come out of
tendrils?
the-
Yeah.
I
old lady's
liked that. It was different.
Okay.
Like
So what did you guys think about like the opening scene when they explained
Oh
the
my
virus, the
gosh!
talk show?
Oh my
The
god!
fungus.
I loved it so much.
He's so excited.
Because I've watched like a lot of zombie type stuff. This is the most realistic take you could ever have for
Yeah.
zombies because it's the only one that could ever really happen. Viruses and bacteria don't really have the capabilities to take over your body and
But
keep it
fungi
alive.
do.
And they already do it. They explained that in the show.
with
There-
insects, yeah.
There's
That does that in
there's
in
a
nature.
fungi that takes over ants and
This-
turns them into zombies.
This one's called cordyceps. Look,
Yeah.
look it up, Bryson.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually pretty gnarly.
And so, like,
I think I agree with you, Bryson. I think this is probably the most realistic way we could have zombies actually.
yeah,
be a
because
part
like
of-
the way they explain it is because like human bodies, we're too warm for most fungus. They can't really affect us.
Yeah.
And so, but they haven't had like the time to evolve to really need to do that. But their example is like global warming, and if it suddenly rises to enough where they have to forcefully evolve, that could eventually happen where fungi then take us over, which I thought was so interesting. I'm like, yeah, if a zombie apocalypse were to break out, this would be the most likely scenario.
So I do have to say, like, how they portrayed the zombies kind of creeped me out too, because like, so the old lady like fell and you could hear her bones cracking when she fell, and then it was like, but then, yeah, you like my thing. But when the guy starts chasing him and his daughter and is like literally throwing himself everywhere, it made sense because the fungi doesn't necessarily know how to work the human body, so it looked like
and it doesn't really have a regard for it. It's like, well, you just go for it.
It doesn't feel pain or anything. So I thought how that was portrayed was actually really, really cool. And really, really creepy.
Like the setup for it,
creepy for sure.
The setup for that too is like, because you meet those neighbors earlier on in the episode, and it's just like, okay, like grandma in the chair, like, but it gets really weird because like she doesn't move, but the way that it's being shot, it's like, okay, something clearly isn't right.
In the background, how they blurred her out, and she was like,
kind of like, yeah. And then later, you see this grandma who couldn't move is now like sprinting after this little girl.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
Oh shoot. Yeah, it was really, it was creepy. I'm really excited to see the new episode, though.
It was really good. We're gonna have to watch. We're gonna be up so late tonight.
Well, we can watch it while we put the laundry away.
Yeah, I guess we could do that.
We folded all the laundry. Yay for us.
Yeah,
it's only been 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's only been 3 weeks
since you folded laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means we've been just pulling it out of the laundry basket.
Yeah, well.
It's been clean. It's cleaned. It's been washed.
It's just not put away.
It's just not folded and put away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you guys think Tommy's at right now?
It's a good question.
I was like,
wait, what?
I was like, who?
Because they got separated, remember?
Yeah, because we don't, because it's like you have the whole. Man, we really failed. Spoilers for Last of Us.
That's fine.
But
we mentioned it. I feel like people would either click off, or continue.
But like the last time we see them together is like Joel and Tommy and Sarah, as Sarah is on the ground dying, and then 20 years later, Joel's by himself with Tess and.
Yeah, I don't really follow. I didn't follow the second half.
Yeah, because you're kind of thrown into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, who's this lady with a beat up face? And like the way they're talking, she's like, he answers to me, and selling batteries and all this weird stuff. I'm like, what the hell?
Because it's been 20.
Happening?
Was it 20 years since the initial infection started happening? So it's now been some time, and so now the things that aren't being made anymore because everybody's trying to survive.
I get that, but like the characters that are introduced and how they're introduced is a little chaotic to me.
Yeah.
But that's very video game storytelling, though.
Well, and that's why I struggle, because I never played video games.
So Tess and Joel, because they're in Boston now, right? So they're work partners, essentially. And they do a lot of like underground and what's considered illegal work.
Okay.
And like their job essentially is to like smuggle stuff in and out of the city. So that's how they know how to get out. Like how they knew to get outside.
Well, and the whole like leaving the quarantine area is punishable by death. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. So like they're willing to do it because like they can handle that stuff and they have experience doing it. So they're partners in doing that kind of stuff together. So, and that's how they have that one, like, I don't know what to call him, cop or
guard or
guard, whatever. Yeah.
They got him in his pocket.
Yeah. They have someone working for him because even he understands that like they're not really getting by all that well. So
I saw that the currency was definitely different, which was interesting.
Like ration cards and
yeah. Thought that was really interesting. Instead of seeing like money or like just bartering like with different things that you have to get other things. They're just like, here's something that's worth something. Because I'm guessing the government is what, values those cards for. Yeah, issues them and values them. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I think it's a really different as far as like the storytelling and stuff like that. And these post-apocalyptic, like dystopian, like worlds, it's kind of like they're like the same old thing, like every single time. And this one definitely has something different, and I think this is going to be something.
I feel like we
interesting.
gotta stop watching all of these like post-apocalyptic type shows because we're bringing it into existence by focusing on it so much.
We're preparing ourselves.
Somebody's
We
actually
really
going to
aren't.
start experience like.
I think the Mormons might make it.
Someone's
their
really going to
canaries.
start like experimenting with cordyceps fungus and actually mess up and turn it into a
Seriously.
real thing.
Well,
Or, like,
we have a
science
lot of like
gone
gain
too
of
far.
function and stuff like that going on in the background because we've learned that from the
the
Rona
COVID.
and things that
Yeah.
were happening in the Wuhan lab and everything. So it's like, okay, if they are literally mutating different viruses to make it even more communicable between individuals,
Species.
and it actually has not crossed species. It's only
only-
in
Uh-huh.
humans.
Swine flu cross species.
Okay, but I was talking about the Rona, not the swine flu. That's different.
Well,
But I'm just saying, like,
Didn't it come from bats?
no, no, it didn't. As far as I know, that's what the
but
says.
anyway, when we start
So-
messing with that stuff, it gets creepy. Because then we're gonna start mutating fungi, and it's gonna come after our brains.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like where is the line when it comes from, trying to understand different things and to prevent things versus creating something to
Just because we can.
because we can. Yeah, it's like, at what point do you make something that could kill humanity?
Mm. I don't know.
It's like, why would you make something to destroy?
I feel like usually,
I guess
at
nuclear
least
weapons.
like what they
Great
try
example.
to show in these types of things is that it's usually done on accident, or it's done with intention, but it wasn't intended to be on a massive scale. Like it's meant to be used in like warfare, because we have like biological warfare,
Mhm.
Yeah, but
which
that
is
stuff's scary.
which
Yeah.
is a like thing that is still definitely researched all the time because it can target people really easily, or they're trying to make something that could benefit humans because like virus and fungi and bacteria, they can spread really fast. And so like say you're trying to create like an antivirus for something, like say you're trying to get rid of like the common flu, and to essentially do that you would need a virus doing the same thing that just rapidly spreads to everybody, but one wrong thing and you're doing something that just kills
And then
millions
you're
of people.
creating zombies.
There you go.
Or you could have the happy accident when they figured out Viagra and Cialis. Weren't they initially
Viagra was initially
Was it a blood thinner or something like
Yeah,
that?
it was a
so-
blood pressure medicine.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
supposed to be.
My
blood
heart
pressure.
doesn't feel any better, but something else feels a lot better.
But something in my
My wife
legs is great.
My wife is happy.
Gosh.
No, but like, there's like, so we have that, which we could potentially like end life as we know it, and on the other hand, we have the silliness of our government, which at one point in time they were trying to make a bomb that was chemically induced to. It was supposed to be a gay bomb,
Oh,
so they were
what?
going to use it on the enemy so that it would distract all the men, so they could go.
Oh
in.
yeah, it was supposed to make people gay.
This is not real.
What?
They're just not
That's-
real.
that's
No,
so-
it is.
No,
It
it is
is.
totally
I don't
real.
believe-
It's
It is
totally
real.
real.
There is a medication that they put. There was a blood pressure medication they
bomb.
put.
That's
Say
what I'm
gay.
looking
They put
Oh
a guy
my
on.
god, that's a real thing.
And yeah,
In
So-
'94, that
yeah. You guys, I'm not even joking. The
Bruh.
gay.
And these are the
No.
people that we give our taxes to. I'm just
You
saying.
guys-
I quit society. I quit life. I want a refund.
Right.
I want a refund from society.
Hey, we turned this podcast around, didn't we? Woo!
It literally, this medication literally turned a guy compulsively gay. He was married with
And
kids,
gambling. And a
and
gambler.
it totally put down it completely enabled his frontal cortex, and like his impulse control was non-existent, and then it made him like it created the chemical something in his
Imbalance.
brain where he actually
It just,
was
like-
going around and soliciting sex for men.
Is there a way that we can
And he
make some?
gambled. himself into like oblivion.
Yeah.
And he was able to sue and get money because it was a medication that did it to him.
Because it was the medication that messed with his brain.
Is there a way that we
Bro.
can make some kind of medication to make like all people understand that religion is something to manipulate the masses, and it's not like is there a way we can make some kind of medication that does that?
Yeah, I mean the
No.
Judeo-Christian,
The gay bomb.
the Judeo-Christian principles have been abused.
But the
And-
thing is if we did that, that means we'd all have enlightenment, and you can't control an enlightened population.
Sounds great to me.
There's definitely some
Exactly.
belief with
But-
psychoactive.
Why do you think
substances.
Why do you think they demonize mushrooms and psilocybin?
They're
and
afraid
all
of the
these
truth. They can't handle it.
And the Mary Jane.
Gives you the
Enlightened
opportunity
people
to-
can't be controlled. They don't want us enlightened because then they can't control us. Conspiracy theory. It's not conspiracy though. It really is true.
But that's just a theory.
A life theory.
Where's that
Starbucks
from?
is so chill. Look
I'm
at
still
Starbucks.
dying at the gay bomb thing. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was legit. I mean, and then we have other nonsensical like operations that they did. What was the operation that they were going to initiate war with Cuba by like flying a plane full of American citizens, and then they were going to have U.S. troops shoot them down in Cuba to start a war with Cuba?
I
What
don't
about
know. I don't
Operation?
remember that.
That seems
What's
like
it called?
something we do.
Operation Paperclip. What was that one?
I don't
Is that
remember
the one I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Bryson's got this.
I'm looking it up. Yeah, no, that is definitely not it. Let me find it.
That might be that might be a UFO thing.
That's like a Nazi thing, which is Operation Paperclip. It's like they took a bunch of German scientists, engineers, and technicians
Oh,
from former Nazi Germany.
Oh yeah, that's real.
yeah.
It was like an intelligence program.
That's how
Yep.
we got to nuclear capabilities before the Germans did. Wasn't Albert Einstein involved with all that?
No.
Operation Mongoose is what it looks to be.
The one that I was talking
Yeah, the
about?
Cuban one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Operation Mongoose. Legit. And that's a conspiracy theory that turned out to be true. And again, I understand like conservatives and where they think this way, because they have so many conspiracies that end up turning out to be true that they're like, okay, and now I have to find the conspiracy in this because there's got to be one. Because if you're right once, it's got to be right again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I digress.
How long have we been going?
Almost an hour.
We're vibing.
Yeah, we still got about 30 minutes.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
really quick, what do you think's the deal with Ellie?
I'm assuming she's immune.
I'm assuming she got infected, but then didn't.
Maybe
Her
she has
body
the
killed
right
it.
antibodies.
Yeah, so that's
She
that's
has the Rona. The Rona beat the fungus.
So yeah, that's the whole story of The Last of Us. Is Joel and Tess meet this little girl who is like so important to the Fireflies.
And they're like the resistance group, right?
Yeah,
Against
they're-
the governmental entity.
mhm.
The
Yeah.
Rebel Alliance.
Because
Pretty much.
they've claimed martial
The
law,
rebels got me.
basically, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Senator Palpatine.
yeah, so the
Yeah.
Fireflies are like are essentially that. But there's a lot of controversy behind the Fireflies because they're doing some pretty dark stuff.
Gotcha.
Granted, like everyone is in this world, like everyone's done something messed up. But that's the whole story. Is like Joel and Tess find this girl that is immune, and now they gotta
Decide what they're going to do about it.
essentially. So
I kind of like
Cool.
that he decided to go in and take her.
so
Like he sees. I kind of feel like he sees his daughter in her, and that's kind of
that's
some of his motivation, other than the important one that she could have the answer to curing this
so
fungal disease.
yeah. And Joel and Ellie's relationship is what makes The Last of Us, because it's like there's a little bit of resentment there because
Oh yeah,
like this is a girl that reminds Joel of what he lost.
yeah.
So it's like
And she's
how-
a little bee.
yeah.
She is a little snarky.
She's sassy.
This Ellie seems very different from the video game, but we've only had like half an episode with her, so
That's a good point.
it's kind of
That's a good
kinda
point.
hard.
We'll have
So
another
that way-
episode here soon.
It's out tonight.
Yeah,
right?
it was out at 7.
At first, they were actually supposed to. Maisie Williams was in talks to play Ellie, and
Maisie Williams, who
Arya Stark from Game of Thrones.
really?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Hmm.
So she was in talks to do it, and I think they.
What did you guys think about the intro music and the graphics? I'm like, this is
That's
just
the
great.
original.
This is
I
just
love
Game
that.
of Thrones light.
Okay, so the intro music is actually like the original video game music that they used.
I was going to say, I was
So-
like,
Really?
I've seen
Yeah.
like
Oh.
tons of things where it's just original.
I think
Yeah, we got
soundtrack.
so much like Game of Thrones, like very light Game of Thrones
Like
vibes
even
on from
well,
it.
even the graphics. You know how in Game of
The
Thrones,
way it like kind of like
the fungus grows or whatever.
Mhm.
Gustavo Santaolalla. That's a long name, but that's the composer for the music, and I think he's just doing the music for the show as well. And like a lot of the music from the show, it's like this is literally just music from the game. Like
It is
It's-
beautiful.
yeah.
I'm
I
not
think
gonna
it's
lie,
how you
it's
s-
very
we like
beautiful.
it.
Which I think
It's
is how you
good.
stay really faithful to the game is
Yeah.
by using that same kind of stuff.
yeah, because
Yeah.
the music in all entertainment is almost like another character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that's how
it
you like.
evokes
That's how you like
emotion.
recognize a lot of things.
yeah, you associate a lot of like
Even with like pop songs, it's like you hear All Star and you only think of Shrek.
yeah, like I know like
that's a good point. That was done by Smash Mouth, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight, Hans Zimmer's music.
Yeah.
He's really good at like connecting with the audience and making sure that
Well,
they're gonna
music
sense
is
it.
literally what brings the emotion in
Yeah,
a lot of times.
exactly.
If you don't have a good film score, like it's kind of hard to connect
Well,
with everything sometimes.
well, that's not always the case. I think your film should have emotion completely without sound.
It should, but it doesn't mean
The
it.
sound just enhances it. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
If your film relies on music to carry its emotion, it's not a good film.
You don't have good enough talent.
Exactly. Talent and just storytelling in general.
How about a decent series, but the music does not match with it at all?
Ugh. I don't know about that.
Have you guys seen 1866 yet on Netflix?
Mm-mm.
So, in this particular series, it kind of follows, I don't know, 1800s or something like that. Where they follow-
1866?
Well,
whatever.
yeah, the 1866, that would be the 1800s.
I'm telling you, my brain's not working
That
tonight.
was 2023, obviously.
So
Jacob's
it
normally
follows
in
this
bed
book.
by now.
She's not wrong. She's really not wrong. I've had too much coffee today, and I've had a beer. So I don't know what to tell you. Bear me.
America.
America. And so it follows this group of people on a boat. It's kind of like a cruise liner, and there's people from all sorts of places. So there's people from Mexico or Peru, from Germany, French, not Scottish. Anyways, so there's like a lot of different dialects going on, and they speak in their native tongues, like the people that you go to. So they're all speaking to each other in different languages, and so only the people that know their language can understand them and interpret for them. So you can either watch it like that with subtitles, or you can watch it completely dubbed, which, I mean, obviously I like to hear, the original tracks with subtitles for me. And they just have like these strange things happen on the boat. And they come upon a signal that comes from another boat that had been missing for like weeks. And it's a distress call, just giving the location. So they go over there to check on him. Nobody's on the boat. Except for this one boy.
It's a ghost ship.
And they bring the boy on, and he doesn't speak, he doesn't talk, he doesn't really react much. And it just kind of goes through this story, and you're kind of having this story told through this lady's eyes, who's a doctor. And of course, at that time, a woman doctor was just like, it's a woman doctor. So it was like really interesting to kind of see through her eyes of what's going on here. And honestly, I've watched it, and it's a very interesting story. It's very riveting, but the music absolutely sucks. It doesn't match with the story. So that, I mean, it's a really good example. And you're just like, this doesn't work. But anyways, I digress.
You know which movie I watched that the music didn't match and it threw me off?
What?
A Knight's Tale.
Really?
But that one's meant
I
to
disagree.
be... That one's meant to be that way, though. Like,
I know,
they
but it
did
threw
that,
me
like,
off.
specifically, didn't they?
Yeah.
For me,
I'll still watch it because
worked.
it's got Heath Ledger. I miss him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dreamy.
Shut up, I love him.
He's dreamy.
He was a really good actor.
10 Things I Hate About You. First
Oh, I
movie
love
saw.
that movie.
Love it. You know it's based off of a Shakespeare play, right?
No, I did not know that. But I also
Wait,
am not
who's
a huge-
Shakespeare?
Your mom.
Shut up.
Got him.
That's the spear of Achilles, right?
Huh? We are mixing genre. Okay,
Yeah.
Was that a video game? Shakespeare?
So, Jacob, I wanted to hear like what your thoughts were on like the world needing men.
It's an interesting topic because there's been a lot of like shorts and YouTube videos and TikToks and stuff like that that have been going around kind of attacking men specifically and specifically masculinity, which I thought was really interesting because this world needs everybody. This world needs men and women. This world needs old and young. This world needs leaders and it needs followers. It needs workers and it needs business owners. Like it needs everybody in order for it to function and work properly. And so I just think it's interesting that they go through these thought experiments of like if all the men just disappeared, wouldn't the world be great?
No.
And it exactly. And it just kind of irked me. But I don't know if you guys have experienced this, and I don't know if you guys have seen some of the stuff online, but it's possible. It's possible the algorithm's just feeding me stuff because I started kind of going down a rabbit hole.
That's totally
Yeah, now it's like, all right, Jacob, let's really get into your head.
And so I was just kind of like,
It's like Emperor Palpatine is like, yes,
Do
feel
it.
your anger.
Yeah.
that was pretty
Gives
good.
you focus.
Wow.
Jeez.
I'm actually a little intimidated
that
by
was
Bryson.
actually really good,
Thank you.
actually.
As I shrink
Do
down in my seat over here, I'm
Do
like,
it.
okay.
Join the dark side.
I'm now a little scared of Bryson.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so as the only female,
Unlimited power.
Hey, how
Yeah, I
dare
was
you?
gonna say this is.
How dare you assume that you're the only female here in this group? Sorry.
Jacob,
Yeah, what about me? No, I'm kidding.
I'm just
as the
I didn't
only
even tell you
one
my
with
pronouns.
the uterus?
Sorry, I apologize. I'm getting
How is that? As the only one with the uterus.
I'm getting a little antagonistic. I
You are.
apologize. Go
I
ahead.
will say men are important. Masculinity is important and it is needed. Because I can recognize that. Having been a woman who's single and lived on her own in adulthood and then also who's been married, I appreciate having a man around, especially a tall one.
Especially a burly one with long hair and a beard.
Yeah. Not so much when he dreams and thrashes at night and like hits me in the head. That's why I have to keep a pillow in between us. No, but seriously, like, who does the majority of the construction?
Women, right?
Men.
They're doing all the shoveling and the
Not to
asphalt
say that
laying
women
and-
can't, but men usually are the ones who have built, who do the hard jobs, who go and like build bridges, literally,
oil rigs.
oil rigs.
They're pumping all the oil. They're building all the roads.
So,
They're
I
building all
mean,
the buildings.
The majority of our
Majority of engineers are
our
men.
modern conveniences are due to men. So women who say they don't need men, I'm like, you're full of shit. Because
You
you
hear
most
the feminist
definitely
cringe right now.
But I am a feminist too. I get pissed off when men don't treat me like I'm
Well, you're an
smart
original
enough.
feminist, not modern day feminism. It's very different.
I am feminist in the fact that like I am just as smart and just as capable of men, and I am just as capable of earning a good living doing administrative work or C-level work
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
absolutely.
But like, I don't think people realize that like men also do all like the majority of the hard labor that makes this world go too. So I'm not stupid enough to think that we don't need men. And that's my piece. I love and appreciate men, especially the burly ones that bring in the salt for the water softener, babe.
Those 50-pound bags are not light.
No, they're not.
They're 50 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. So, the only reason that we have, social media right now is because of men. Most programmers are men.
But
like there's
women who've done that. There's a lot of women in the IT field now.
Oh yeah, and there's there's also like different fields that are dominated by women, like nurses dominated by women.
But there's a lot of men who are going into that as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They are dominated by different areas, but there's a lot of contributing factors to that.
Absolutely. There's always exceptions to the rule.
Okay.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah, there's always outliers. Absolutely.
I feel like we should
Have you seen some of the MMA women? I'm pretty sure they can dominate a lot of different men in that sphere.
Yeah.
And just in general. However, biologically men like physically are more stronger because of biology.
Sure.
But that's not to say that women aren't important, because they are very important. We
all play intricate roles in making the world go
absolutely round. Absolutely. But what's interesting is the seemingly weird battle between men and women. Like we have this. So now we have this huge battle against ideologies, right? Both political spheres and sexual spheres. We also have ideologies between men and women. What if or not their roles are in this world. And then we and it's really interesting because it's perpetuated by these different algorithms.
You do get a lot of I hear when you're on your shorts, I do hear a lot of women hating on men.
Which is interesting because I subscribe to several different content creators who specifically talk about how great men are, and they're ran by female creators.
Well, I know that. I've
the
heard
reason
those
that we need men and stuff like that. But yes, I've noticed that as of late, outside of listening and watching some of my subscription stuff, I'm getting a lot of stuff that's very negative against men, and we need everybody.
I agree.
And it's not about equality. It's not about one's better and one's not. We all have different things to contribute, and it's all important. It's really difficult to say, well, what's more important? The man to go to work to earn all the money, or the woman to birth all the children and raise the next generation of leaders? It's what's more important? They're both equally important.
Yeah.
So I just think it's
I don't think anybody here is arguing. I don't know. Do you guys have something to...
Bryce, what you got?
So I think both are equally important, and I understand the backlash towards a lot of things. And I think it's kind of just the movement that is currently going. And typically from what I see, because I am not seeing the same kind of stuff that you're seing, Jacob.
That's okay.
You get more of the...
We can disagree, and we can still be friends, and we
can
still...
Yeah. I'm not saying that what you're getting is wrong. No.
You could say that too, and I'd still be okay with it.
But what,
my feelings.
Because what I typically get...
what do you typically get?
On social media, so when it comes to that kind of stuff, and it's people hating on men, is usually, it's the kill all men kind of stuff, which usually has come due to trauma. It's usually because of abuse in partnerships and in just relationships as a whole, not in love relationships, but just relationships with people in general. And I feel that is usually what the kind of stuff I get. So I understand a lot of the hate. I don't agree with all of it. Because I do think that everyone is equal and we need everybody to have a proper functioning society. But I understand, and some things I do side with, because there are a lot of bad people in the world.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of dirtbags out
and
there.
It's
There's also a lot of abusive women.
Exactly. I was going to say, I
Yeah.
was like, and this is on both sides. There's
Yeah.
a lot of bad people on
Yeah.
both sides that we don't really need for society to properly function. So I understand both sides to it. I don't agree with all parts of it, but I understand.
nuanced.
I understand all of it.
Yeah, it definitely is nuanced for sure. Like, I think it's really interesting when people have a complete like binary like belief on those kinds of things. Oh, well,
Not everything is black and white.
Exactly. Oh, only women are better than men. Well,
No.
only men are better than
Well,
women.
So women are amazing.
They really are.
having,
Can't live with them. Can't live without them.
Oh, excuse-
I love you, sweetie.
having been a
Divorce.
woman who has lived with one of the not so nice men and traumatizing inducing men, and then living with Jacob, who's not very traumatizing at all. He's very accepting and patient and
He's
loving.
a teddy bear.
I love him so much.
Thank you.
But there are bad, and I've seen extremely abusive women, even physically abusive women. I had a cousin who was physically abused by his partner. And she was huge. She was like, no joke, was Jacob's size. And my cousin was 5'8", 5'9", skinny. But
So
like,
average.
so I've seen both sides.
Yeah.
And even in like abusive situations, they say it's hard to figure out who the primary aggressor is a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Because a woman will be mentally and emotionally abusive to a man and emasculate him and everything, which triggers a lot of crap in him. You know what I mean? So I think hurt people hurt people.
Oh, definitely.
Do you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like
I believe
hurt
that.
men will hurt people. Hurt women will do the same. But
Sorry, finish your thing. I'm sorry.
But I think at that point it's about hurt people not dealing with their trauma and wanting to blame other people. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, it's not fair that you were hurt by that person, but it's not your responsibility for what they did to you, but it is your responsibility for you getting over it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes our society creates an environment where it fosters victimhood.
We definitely
A lot
live
of
in
times,
we
too.
definitely live in a day and age where victimhood is championed and encouraged, for sure.
In a lot of aspects, and I'm not downplaying trauma either, because
That
I've
affects
had it.
everybody. Yeah.
so anyway.
I think some of the things that are really interesting when it comes to this seemingly increased attack on men. Again, this could be completely just experiential from what I'm getting from the algorithms. I will completely 100% admit to that.
They found your weak spot.
They found my
sir.
weak spot. I'm like, oh my God, they're attacking men.
Men suck. Jacob's like,
What?
What?
But I'm a man. But divorce rates have been very, very interesting. 60% of divorce rates are initiated by women, and they go up to as high as 80% if the woman is highly educated, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, I would want some receipts on that though. I don't know if that's the case.
Those are the statistics that I've read.
Yeah, but where?
Bryson's fact.
I think
looking.
Jordan Peterson. Well, I got it from Just Pearly Things, but she got her statistics from Jordan Peterson on that, I believe. And I think Jordan Peterson's a very good authority on
Jordan
that kind of
Peterson
stuff.
does do his research.
He does immense research. Like, even though he is a clinical psychologist, he does immense research on many other things that are important to society, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And although,
So it looks 70% of divorces are initiated by women, and 93%.
ooh,
90% of those are college educated women.
Yeah. And, even the
So
statistics
are you worried
that
I'm becoming college educated? Because
No, I'm not worried about you at all.
She'll realize.
Babe, we've been together for 8 years. I think I got you locked in.
Don't even
No,
think that.
I
You still
think-
got to woo me, sir.
Oh, I still got to work. Oh, babe.
You still got
babe,
to woo me.
we still got to work at,
Every day.
continually like falling in love with each other, because the thing about happiness and love is like you're constantly falling in and out. And so you have to constantly continue to work that, just like you would a muscle, just like you would, to get better at something.
Yeah.
If you want to be a better reader, you got to read more books. If you want to be a better writer, you got to write more. Things like that. Just like in relationships, you got to continue to fall in love over and over again with your partner. Otherwise, you're not going to make it.
That's true.
That's something I believe very, very strongly in. Another statistic, which is really interesting, we were talking about domestic violence, right? But that particular DV statistic that I saw was that the majority of during that year was women that was initiating DV, which was really interesting.
Yeah, but see, that's still really hard to determine. I don't know. I'd have to look.
Because not all of it gets reported.
Well, we could say that about we could say that about anything. Not everything is getting reported. That's very, very true.
No, that's true. But I don't know. Alec, what are your thoughts? You've been over there really quiet. You've had time to think over everything. I really want to hear what's going on over there with your mind.
So the whole toxic masculinity thing is something that comes up a lot on my feed. But the thing is sure, we can call it toxic masculinity, but I mean there's also
what about toxic femininity?
There's definitely that too.
So that's what I'm trying to get at. So you guys know, Bryson, you're kind of out of the loop on this, but you guys remember my previous relationship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did I tell you the guys the details on that?
Some of
A little
them,
bit.
but outside of the podcast.
So, you guys know, I was convinced that woman was going to be that was it.
Yeah.
I was convinced. I was actually in love.
Yeah.
It was something that I don't think I had ever experienced, and it was oh my God, this is it. I was moved way too fast, first of all. Moved way too fast. But
Alakai's doing the Mormon thing. He's like, I'm ready to propose.
Yeah, I guess so. I was, but really though, I was convinced that I was going to marry this girl.
I mean, you guys were really serious. You guys
Let him finish his tale. Sorry, you were interrupting.
Rand's right. We were very
Riveting.
serious, but we had a dog together, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
We were living together.
You guys had pets together.
But I mean, there were things that took place in that relationship that she would engage in that if I had engaged in,
Jail time.
yeah. But I mean, whenever I needed help in that relationship, it was you're a man. You got to take care of this. You're an adult. You can take care of it. But if she needed help, she would get all the love and the support. And yeah, it was. So I mean,
Her needs were getting met. Yours were not.
yeah. And even if even if I would communicate my needs, it was
Suck it up, kind of thing.
that's a way to oversimplify it, I guess. But I mean,
Okay.
it was more
They're not as important.
it wasn't getting validated.
Yeah.
Is the thing. And sorry, this is kind of hard to talk about, but
You don't have to talk
You're
about it if
good.
you don't have to, man.
No. But yeah, I mean, it's the whole toxic masculinity thing. The thing that's whatever. Okay, like it's not just a men thing. The women are getting involved in this thing too.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of double standards that we can talk about.
I think
Yeah.
the adding masculinity or femininity to it is what ruins it. They're just toxic people. It doesn't matter that
jerks
they're
and assholes.
that they're masculine or feminine, whatever. They're just toxic people.
Yeah.
And I think that's where things kind of get so bad, is because we're associating these words with certain types of people. And it's like, yes, we understand why, but not all instances of that word, like masculinity or femininity, are bad. And so it kind of sucks when we associate them with something like toxic, because that kind of just influences the idea that these things are bad, when inherently they're not bad. It's these kinds of people that make them bad. So it's not really these that are bad. It's people skewing these ideas to extremes and turning them bad.
Yeah.
It's the boxes that we create for men and women that like we are, each gender is responsible for, rather than like you're in a partnership as a man and a woman, if that's the kind of partnership that you're in, you're in that partnership, communicate what each of you needs. And that's what versus like, you're the man, you need to do this, you're the woman, you need to do this. Like,
I think that there's definitely some inherent like basic things from nature that we do as men and women, and we definitely fall into those categories for sure.
Right.
But I think because femininity and masculinity are kind of like there are some things that women have that you could say are more masculine features or masculine like job roles or masculine, like tomboys, like, we call girls tomboys sometimes because they like sports. Sports generally is a more masculine thing.
Or
but that's kind of, honestly, that's more of a social construct.
I was going to say,
because that's kind of more fluid.
That's kind of just the way things have been for a long time. And it hasn't been until really recently where that has kind of shifted, where people are like, this doesn't really matter if it's a man or a woman doing this thing. And so
but there are some things where I definitely would rather have a man than a woman. For instance, fighting in a war. I'd rather a man who has the speed, the agility, like, honestly, the strength. Like, as a woman, I mean, there's a reason why they still put muscly men in movies, and you know what I mean? There's still a reason. I'm not saying you have to be muscly, but that protector, that is attractive to a woman. That's an innate thing that is attractive to a woman. For the most part, because that signals security, strength, and everything. Like,
like, who do you want to come? Like a police officer is going to a house to a domestic violence incident.
Oh no, that's
who
scary.
would you want?
Together.
Who would you want there?
I'd want a woman and a man, honestly, depending on who it like. But the thing is they have different roles. But like, I go back to think I'd rather have a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah, Jordan B. Peterson.
He said, well, that's not his quote, but he's
a proponent.
And the reason is because it's like a man who is strong and can control his nature is awesome. A woman who is strong and can control her nature is awesome too, because women can get crazy a little bit. Being a woman who's gotten crazy. But I just think, I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean, men can go equally as crazy as women.
Well, they can, and they have.
There's this bit, I don't remember the stand-up who did it, but there was this bit of like, if a woman goes crazy, she might like key your car, but if a guy goes crazy,
he'll shoot you.
The Jews disappear.
I saw that recently.
Slightly bigger whoopsie daisy.
Yeah,
I don't remember who it was, but
it's true. Yeah.
And I love comics that are able to weave in like reality within their comedy.
It is more
because it's the
dangerous
best-
for men to go crazy a little
It's the
bit.
best. It's the best way to talk about
Women
things.
keys your car, man. Oh, mass genocide.
Yeah. And and I think it's important to definitely have equal opportunity. Like, obviously, if a woman wants to go and be a warrior, great, go be a warrior. Go be the best warrior you possibly can be.
Be Wonder
Like, I
Woman.
like G.I. Jane,
You know?
okay?
there's
Like,
a reason why the Vikings talk
Oh, yeah.
about the
Shield
Valkyries.
maidens.
Well,
Valkyries,
shield
shield maidens.
Shield maidens historically weren't like a huge thing, but Valkyries
Valkyries, yes.
were.
They were
Valkyries
the warrior
were-
woman.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
exactly. Like
The Amazonians.
Amazonian, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
See, like, I'm all about that sort of crap.
Yeah.
I love that sort of crap.
But here's the interesting
But I
thing,
don't think it takes away
especially-
from men to have women like that either.
Yeah.
No.
But I think it's really interesting, though, is like there are some individuals, and I don't think there's too many organizations that believe it. There's definitely some individuals who believe that we should have equality in everything. And the hard part about understanding that is that we're not equal to begin with. Like, we
In
don't
different, like, in
like, we
certain
don't have-
areas.
I know there's the whole like I don't see gender, I see people type of thing, but it's just like
I
that's
definitely see gender,
that's like
but I see American first.
it's your identity. Like
So,
I see
but
your identity.
here's the thing. Equity can be argued, like, say, we need more equity in the C-suite for women to be in there, which I totally agree with.
What's C-suite?
Like, CEOs, CFOs, like, chief
So in like the executive positions.
executive positions. And so,
Okay, I
I'm
would
like,
I would love
okay.
to see more women in those positions too, but I don't think
I wasn't.
having. Sorry, go ahead. I apologize. I thought you were done.
Way to
so I was
go.
jumping
No.
in.
No, I'm
No,
kidding.
but
Way to go, being a man, just
but then
interrupting.
equity-
No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
Toxic masculinity. I am not a crook.
But as I'm going
Jesse,
to
we need to
finish,
cook.
is to say we need equity there. Does that mean we need to have equity in all the bricklayers or the road pavers? How many women are? See, and here's the thing: it's like how many
want to
women
be
how many
underwater
women
divers?
actually
welding?
apply for those positions? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like men get paid more because some of the jobs that they're applying for and actually doing are dangerous jobs, and women probably would get paid that much if they were applying as
Yeah.
well.
And thank God we have the men that are willing to do it, because unfortunately
Amen.
a lot of women don't want to do those kinds of things.
Well, not a lot of men are wanting to do them either anymore. So
Well, we do have that issue as well.
we have a lot of
We
issues with
definitely
labor
we
shortage.
definitely have an issue where, and this is something interesting, like just coming from me personally, because everybody knows I grew up LDS. I grew up in a way where I was supposed to give my wife everything I possibly could to make her happy
Yeah, what
at the
happened to
expense of
that?
myself.
Oh,
Rianne's like, come on. Where's that at, Jacob?
I'm just kidding.
And honestly, it wasn't until a few years ago when you told me, you said, Jacob, I don't know if you really, really want to do something if you're not going to fight for it.
Or
Fighting
like,
meaning like continually pushing to do it.
well, no, because is what would happen, and this would drive me insane, is I'd be like, so what do you think about this and this? I don't care. Just do what you want. I'm literally
This is how I
asking
was
for-
raised. This is how I was raised.
It was so infuriating, and that's actually a sign of a toxic relationship trait, is to just like lay down and not. It's like, I don't care, just do whatever you want. That actually contributes to a toxic relationship.
But you've noticed how it's different now. Now I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because I had to yell
do
at
you
you
want
and be
do you
like,
want a hamburger? Do you want a sub? Or do you want some Italian? Okay.
I don't know.
You
You
don't want one of
decide.
those. Okay. Well, how about, and so like I'm actually giving you options of things that
that you
said.
want.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's different now because but I didn't know, like I didn't understand that I was supposed to fight for the things, or at least push for the things that I wanted
Or at
to
least
do as
just
well.
inform
What do you want
me
for dinner?
of the things
Let's
that
get
you want.
McDonald's. Ew, no.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the Wendy's? Ew, gross. Jimmy John's? No.
I had that
Do you-
yesterday.
Okay, how's this? Do you want to go to Panda Express?
See, now you guys are simplifying it with the whole
Yeah,
food thing, and we
I
know
agree.
that is just
I
But
a,
only
agree.
if you want to.
that's just a weird thing that girls do. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Anyway,
In
I'm
fairness,
literally just giving you
I,
guys
as a
shit.
man, also do that a lot. And I'm like, I don't know.
I'm the least pickiest eater, so it like genuinely is annoying when like someone doesn't know where they want to go, and I'm just like, I really don't care. I could go to Jack in the Box. I could go to Panda Express. Where do you think
You're
it's
like,
good?
pick somewhere.
I need a
yeah.
sounding board to name off all of the things that are options.
Yeah, so I'll have to say, okay.
Yeah.
You'll have to say, okay, do you want Asian, Mexican, or American? Well, I definitely don't want American. Oh, okay, great. So how about these Asian places? Or so I'll have to like kind of have this little. I mean, you could potentially call it a game, where you kind of start with your brackets here, and you start kind of filtering through all the brackets of the ones that don't make it, kind of like in like basketball or football or whatever, and you start getting down to the last two teams. Until you find the one that's like, okay, well, I like this one better than the other one.
I'm just making sure that your mental capacities are at full functioning
Yeah, but
all the time.
but
because
honestly-
it's an exercise in like, making sure, how
in
people do
relationships and
puzzles.
stuff. Yeah,
Doing
They
the
do
best that
puzzles
we
to keep
can
their
with
brain.
the time that we have.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been
So-
talking a lot.
Yeah, we should probably.
So
start
what's
wrapping up.
interesting is that until I was given that permission, I wasn't doing it. And so until you literally told me, like, Jacob, if you really want to do something, you really need to like
Tell me.
tell me, and you need to fight for it, because if you just lay down every time, you're not going to get what you need.
Because knowing me, I'm a personality to be like, fine, I'll do what I want.
Exactly.
If you're not going to give me another option, I'll just do what I want. And then you're going to sit and get mad and resent me for it. And that's stupid.
Well, and isn't it wonderful that we did that, because we wouldn't have this podcast today,
Yeah, that's true.
and we wouldn't have made so much wonderful friends by doing it,
That's true.
Who?
and
No,
had
I'm
so
kidding.
much fun. Who, me?
Anyway, how long we been going, Bryson?
136.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
we should
okay.
probably
I
wrap
didn't
up.
hear a final thoughts from Bryson, so I wasn't sure where we were at.
Because that's his responsibility.
It is his responsibility.
I was going to say, I was like, I did not realize that was me.
That's
Okay.
okay. I
Hey,
didn't
Bryson.
answer Bryson.
I was
Bryson.
waiting for you guys to finish your thoughts, and I was going to be like, wrap it
Jacob,
up.
usually you are the one that says
Yeah.
final thoughts.
You're right. Hey, Bryson, I'm gonna leave you in charge with final thoughts, because you can actually see the time left on the
Okay.
podcast, and I didn't even know.
And you have my permission to interrupt Jacob anytime with that.
Like,
he's-
Jacob, shut up.
Deal.
It's
It's
time to
for
go.
final thoughts.
All right.
For real, I've had to pee for the last hour. Just saying.
Oh, jeez.
wow.
All right,
What a
guys.
trooper.
Well, hey, thank you all so much for watching today's episode. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on everything. Hopefully, we've earned your subscription today. So don't forget to like and share this video with family and friends. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss a content release. And from our family to yours, good night, everybody.
Right.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Today's video is sponsored
Oh my
by
God.
viewers like you, so thank you. If we earned your subscription today, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, click that damn bell, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. The best way to support the channel is to like this video, share it with family and friends, and don't forget to leave a comment down below. Send all of your topic ideas, articles, and video links to theperiodicreview@gmail.com. All of our links are in the description down below.